We are covering the law and the testimony. And I can also tell you from reporting inside the courtroom today and reporting at the courthouse, where you see some of what we were discussing with our colleagues, in that building behind me and the surrounding area, there were not just lawyers, jurors, and reporters like usual. There were also top Republican politicians, even more than on other days. And not just Trump's defeated primary opponents now seeking a job, there's one, but also the highest-ranking Republican in the federal government, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, there in the middle, embracing criminal defendant Trump in this unusual show of partisanship in the middle of a felony trial. It's an embrace that actually echoes the loyalist-turned-witness Michael Cohen himself. And that was actually one of the themes in today's testimony. If this were a movie and they brought in all the other top famous national Republicans to physically be at the trial, you'd say, come on, they don't all gather in the New York courtroom. But they did. And they heard, some of them who were present for it, Cohen saying he used to lie for his then boss Trump because he was knee-deep in the cult of Trump. Now Cohen says he's broken out, testifying about Trump's hush money payments. Not the kind of thing most candidates want their political peers to revisit and hear in person. Cohen confirming Trump directed the payments, which was a key moment in this consequential day.
It's round two in Lower Manhattan. The prosecution's star witness, Michael Cohen, he's back on the stand.
He approved it. That's the potentially damning testimony of Donald Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen.
Cohen also described the fallout after the FBI raided his properties back in 2018.
Michael Cohen has testified that he is a liar, admitting he lied to Congress, to the government, to the public.
Cohen is facing cross-examination. It is sometimes very testy. It's sometimes very flat.
You're not hearing what you usually get from a defense lawyer, which is clear, telegraphed themes to a jury.
Now, there was a key point that actually hung over Trump's political tourists, if you want to call them that today. The Republicans and would-be running mates auditioning at the New York Criminal Court this week here. It is a strange place for Veep stakes. But think about it like this. They went and made this trip, many of them taking time away from their government duties and other obligations to come all the way to New York to do this visit and photo op. And then they hear Cohen and these other witnesses living the other side of the thing these people want, which is to be tapped or promoted by Trump. So they actually, inadvertently perhaps, witnessed the fate of so many aides and people who have broken with Trump in and out of the courtroom, and other observers. And Chris Hayes, our colleague, discussed this very reality and contrast today. You could end up a witness. You could end up a defendant like Trump. You could end up convicted, as some of these people are. These are just the lawyers, let alone all the other officials. And so the people competing to be his running mate appear to be in denial about how that goes, about how it went for Mike Pence. Not only politically ruined in the party because he was only loyal through Jan 5th, but then targeted for assassination and hanging on Jan 6th from a mob incited by Trump. So the courthouse Veep stakes includes people who are saying, oh, they want that job. They want to be Pence or, frankly, Cohen. And there's Republicans like J.D. Vance and Rick Scott. There's other ambitious figures. Conservative Congressman Byron Donalds was seen there. Vivek, I mentioned. Speaker Johnson, who is the party leader or perhaps follower in this incarnation of the Republican Party. And that's the photo you see. These individuals feeling like they had to do this, pass this litmus test, or they want to do it, because it's not enough to just defend Trump in public, and it's not enough to say you believe he is innocent, which, of course, you're allowed to say, but they actually had to show up within the criminal trial. And then they weighed in on the legal process with their talking points today.
I wanted to be here myself to call out what is a travesty of justice.
Where's the crime? There is no crime.
This is a sham. This is not the United States of America. This is some third-rate banana republic.
Banana republic or bananas? You decide. It's an especially stark departure for Speaker Johnson. You can see him spot-shadowed as he's nodding along and doing his thing. But the point here isn't whether outside observers are critical of Johnson, meaning someone else's view. Our job is to show you and remind you of the facts we have available. And here is Johnson as recently as 2015, which was just before Trump had more power. He then, before all these other things were exposed, even then had the view that Trump lacked the character and moral center needed for the White House. I'm afraid he would break more things than he fixed, as he's a hothead by nature, and that's a dangerous trait to have in a commander-in-chief. So we know where Johnson was at when he didn't have to say something opposite for political or other self-interested reasons. The Times reports the Republicans also have told on themselves. How has Trump changed the GOP? His criminal trial guest list tells the tale. Again, this is not just normal politics. This is extreme. And you can see the shift with your own eyes. Remember, the tape alone, and not everything else that's been alleged and sometimes really documented in this trial, the tape alone back then had Republicans saying that was too much.
House Speaker Paul Ryan released this statement canceling Trump's event. I am sickened by what I heard today.
Former Republican presidential nominee Senator John McCain pulled his endorsement.
Mitch McConnell called Trump's comments repugnant and unacceptable. Mitt Romney calling his comments vile.
That's what they said then. That tape and that conduct is at the heart of this trial, not because the tape itself was illegal, but because it was bad enough politically that they went to these extremes, allegedly, to do all these other things to stop the political bleeding. And remember, conservative media was in a panic mode because this obviously was going to allegedly hurt Trump with voters, but many were just reeling and discussing the facts in a way that, well, they don't really do as often today if it involves Donald Trump. Back then, even in places that you might have gotten used to getting in trouble, places that have had to pay out for defamation and lies, even in some of those places, people on the right were not yet in the habit of saying the sky is red if it helped Donald Trump. They said what they heard was bad.
The Trump campaign is in full damage control mode following a troubling story broken by the Washington Post today.
The sheer entitlement that he exhibits, where he just feels like he's entitled as a powerful person.
That suggests that he feels that, he is entitled to take what he wants.
Well, I always love that apology. If I've offended anyone, then I apologize. That's not an actual apology.
I think that last night's apology was not heartfelt. I don't think that he really meant it.
That is a contrast to what many of the same outlets, same types of people are saying amidst the trial. It's a big contrast. And again, it's not to say everyone has to agree on everything, and it doesn't pertain to the fact that legally he's presumed innocent. But a trial of this defendant, who insisted on running again and managed to capture the nomination, is now a kind of a new low for some figures in the Republican Party. Not because others disagree with them, as I'm being careful to emphasize, but because it is, again, putting a spotlight on the facts that they knew better, that they opposed this, and the only thing that's changed is a craven pursuit of power and a desire to work for Donald Trump, which, if you attend this trial, is a thing you might question whether that's even in your self-interest.